Let me call the meeting to order. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody here. If everybody'd stand, we'll do the invocation. Dear Lord, I pray that you would be with this mayor and be with this council as we transact the business of the city of Fort Oglethorpe tonight. Help us to have the wisdom to take care of that business as the citizens have elected us to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Derek, would you
pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is the reading of the minutes of the previous council meeting, which was March the 9th, 2015. If all the members of the council have had an opportunity to review those, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Have a motion by Mr. Gray to approve. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Stinnett. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved. Next item on the agenda is mayor comments. You know, we hear, as we live in government in cities and counties and the federal government, we hear a lot of criticism about elected officials and the things that go on. And there is some bright side to the world today. We have got a very good fire department, a very good police department. We're very fortunate. One of the great awards is from our community in our area is a Rossville Exchange Club. They select officers of the year on an annual basis. This year, two of our officers are selected, two of those people. And I'm going to read you a brief article out of the Chattanooga Times Free Press. On November the 30th, 2010, Tammy Davis, then a rookie detective with the Fort Oglethorpe Police Department, and Detective Johnny Lanham were assigned a case of theft by conversion. On the surface, it appeared to be a simple act of embezzlement by the manager of a local business, but it turned into a 4-year case that led to the arrest, successful prosecution, and recent conviction of a local public official. That's why Davis and Lanham, now both sergeants with the Fort Oglethorpe Police Department, were honored at the Rossville Exchange Club's Jimmy Sampley Memorial Awards as Officers of the Year, alongside Special Agent James Harris of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and Assistant District Attorney Alan Norton of the Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit. Chattanooga Police Chief Fred Fletcher served as a guest speaker at the award ceremony held at the Rossville Civic Center and read the nomination letter for the 4 honorees, written and submitted by Fort Oglethorpe Police Department Commander Stephen Blevins. These people are some of the reasons that we in the city of Fort Oglethorpe, it's safe to come and go. A lot of communities don't have the privilege of saying that it's safe to walk outside after dark or walk down the street after dark and feel comfortable and walk on the walking trails. Our police department is a very great police department. And is anybody here from the... You're here. Is Steve Blevins happen to be here tonight? I think he's in a class, is he not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Everybody remember those people. They are the ones that protect us and make this a safe community to live in. And you know, that's just part of keeping us safe. The Fort Oglethorpe Fire Department, and we're a city of 9,200 people, thereabouts. We have an ISO rating of 3, which is almost unheard of for a city of our size. And not only you think about a fire department and you think, you got to have a fire, and then you see a fire engine and here they come and they put water on your house and they put it out. But if you notice, every time we have an accident, you see a fire engine. Every time somebody calls 911 with a heart attack, which I did at one time, the fire department is generally there before an ambulance gets there. In the case of me, they were there because the ambulance got lost. They really did. And without the fire department, you'd probably have a different mayor sitting here tonight. But so we have a couple of great firemen with us here tonight. I think Bruce Blue's here with us, the chief, and Glenn Davis, the fire marshal. Why don't y'all step up so everybody can see them? Without these two guys and the volunteer fire department and all the other people in the fire department, we wouldn't have an ISO 3 and we wouldn't have the safe. You can go to sleep at night and feel safe. Why don't we give them a hand? Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us tonight.
You're welcome, sir. It's an honor to serve the city.
Thank you. Is the election superintendent here with us tonight? I see her. I know it's a great feeling for you tonight to realize that, in my opinion, the frivolous lawsuit has been dropped. You and your family can rest well tonight. Our election superintendent has been here since I've been mayor, and in my opinion does a fantastic job. And to go through what her and her family have gone through with the bad press and a frivolous lawsuit that, by the way, cost you and I, all of us, the taxpayers of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, $5,500 to defend. You know, at some point in time, frivolous lawsuits need to end. And I hope they do. I certainly hope they do, because they cost each and every one of us money. And nobody likes to pay taxes. I certainly don't. I mean, it's almost, and I've heard people say, I'd rather roll dice as pay taxes. If you pay taxes, it's gone forever. At least if you roll dice, you got a shot at winning. So, but nobody likes to pay taxes. And for all those things that we defend that are frivolous, it costs all of us. And think of the little gal that's drawing $800 a month, Social Security, and pays taxes. And part of her taxes are going to defend frivolous lawsuits. She has trouble buying a loaf of bread, much less defending frivolous lawsuits. Orma Lucky, thank you for being a great election superintendent and a job well done. Thank you. And thanks for being here tonight. In our council meeting in January of 2015, we had a speaker that spoke in that council meeting. We did not have a council meeting in February of 2015. We've had one council meeting in the month of March, and here we are in April 13. It's hard to believe that we're already here. During that presentation by this individual that spoke, some statements were made against the mayor, but I'm a big boy, I can take the heat. So I don't get too excited, I just keep on smiling. But this individual got really excited, and rightly so in my opinion. And she called and asked to be placed on, well, she couldn't be on the agenda for February because we didn't have a meeting in February. We had one meeting in March, and here we are in April already, which is hard to believe. But she called during the normal procedure and asked to be placed on the agenda last week. she was denied that privilege, and due to the gray area, the scary thing about the First Amendment, the right to speak and address your government, she is here tonight, and I'm going to allow her, and she is represented by legal counsel, allow her to read a short statement, and we'll call no names. Ms. Perkins, and your attorney.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Mr. Mills, Ms. Perkins has the floor.
Hi, first of all, my name is Janice Fine Perkins. On the night of January the 26th, the council meeting, the Fort Oglethorpe Housing Authority Director blasted the mayor and also discussed my health problem issue of mine. I also made statements about my stint on the board that wasn't true. I do have a driver's license, own a car, I can drive, and as all of you can see, I'm not homebound or bedridden. I have had people to ask me from the TV show, when did you get off of the life support? The director also called a local TV station and used my name, making statements about the mayor and my health. Also, my time as member of the Housing Authority Board. Now, I hope the Housing Authority Board and its director understands HIPAA, HIPPA. If not, maybe she needs to take a training class of statements are made about my health in the future. I will be forced to take legal action. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, zoning matters. We have none. Next item on the agenda, ordinance number 2015-01. Mr. Goulart.
Ordinance number, ordinance number 215-01, rezoning, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and it is hereby ordained by the authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by Wanda A. Harwood and Brenda A. Mathis, known as 1565 Dietz Road, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, is hereby rezoned to a PM zoning. That's the first reading.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, first reading of 2015-02. Mr. Goulart.
This is, let me tell you the reason for this, is some time ago we amended the charter to permit the city manager to make day-to-day operation expenditures up to $2,500. I think the time has come to increase that to $5,000, so that's the basis of this ordinance, and I'll read it. Ordinance number 2015-02, amendment to the City of Fort Oglethorpe Purchasing Control Ordinances and amendments thereto. Whereas the Purchasing Control Ordinance adopted April 13th, 1987, and amended by Ordinance 2008-05 hereby amended as follows. Section 1, Section 2, and Section 6 is amended by striking $2,500 or more for any one purchase and replacing it with $5,000. The old section read as follows. Section 1, this ordinance affects the expenditures of $2,500 or more for any one purchase. Section 2, all purchases, rentals, lease of a capital equipment or a combination thereof, or services if aggregate amount is $2,500 or more, the approval of the council would have to be obtained before the purchase is made. The new section, Section 1, this ordinance only affects expenditures of $5,000 or more for any one purchase. Section 2, all purchases, rental, lease of capital equipment or combination thereof, or services if the aggregate amount is $5,000 or more, The approval of the city council would have to be obtained before the purchase is made. Section 6, the old section provides any verbal or written commitment that would amount to $2,500 or more would have to be approved by the council before commitment is made. New Section 6 provides that any verbal or written commitment that would amount to $5,000 or more would have to be approved by the council before commitment is made. That's first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Goulart. Next item on the agenda, resolutions. There are none. Unfinished business, there is none. Reading of city clerk of any communications, there are none. New business, Chamber of Commerce update.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight. The Board of Directors of the Chamber has asked that I come before Fort Oglethorpe, Marengo, and the County Commission each quarter and give a brief update on what the Chamber has been doing, just so you guys are aware of what's going on and what we are doing. So I will make this really brief. The Chamber is divided into 5 divisions. Under the Economic Affairs Division, some things we have done in the first quarter. We have hosted a Roadmap to Success for Business Ownership. I had a panel of 6 people, one didn't show up, to talk about businesses and how to start a business and what kind of license you needed. Should you start from a legal point of view? What kind of business should you start? What tax ramifications did it have? We had about 15 people there who had either started a business or were thinking about starting a business. So hopefully this was helpful to them, and we'll see some new businesses opening because of this. We have Leads Group. The Leads Group last year in 2014 passed about 5,000 leads amongst themselves. That's pieces of business that people had an opportunity to do that they would not have had otherwise. So that's some of the things we're doing for business. We are hosting, starting next week, the first of 4 social media classes under the Business University brand. We are working with a company called Constant Contact, and they have a program whereby you can make flyers. And I'm not a social media person, so you probably need someone else to tell you the details of this. But it will, businesses can come $10 and you get your lunch and you get the class for $10, and there'll be a series of 4 of them to, again, help the businesses, both large but primarily small, to address some of these concerns of doing business. I was at the Welcome Center one day, out 75, and I heard someone asking about a restaurant, where to go to, and it was a barbecue restaurant, and I was amazed when they sent them to an exit far south of us. So I said, "Why'd you do that?" And they said, "We don't know the restaurants here." So we got together a concierge, and they can't know everything around here, of course. So we got together a concierge book, and it's all the restaurants in Catoosa County that we could find. We put the menus in there. When you go to hotels and you go to the concierge and go, "Where can I eat tonight?" they show you this book of all the restaurants and the menus. And we have a book at the Welcome Center now for all the restaurants in the community, and we will update that as new ones come on, and sad to say, some go away, so it's always current. So hopefully they will be able to direct more people to restaurants in our community instead of someplace else. Under community service, the Leadership Catoosa alumni is about 50 strong. We have graduated about 250 people from Leadership Catoosa over the years. Some have moved away and taken jobs other places, and some have passed away, and some have decided to not pay the $50 a year to belong to the Alumni Association. But we have about 50 people in there, and we hosted a seminar for those people in February that was well attended by about 35 people. We currently have 20 in the Leadership Catoosa class that will be graduating in June. We also partnered with Shaw Industries and BILO to host the Rising Professionals Academy for about 200 work-based learning kids. We find that they learn all the basics they need in school, the reading, writing, and arithmetic, but they don't learn the social skills. They don't learn how to write a resume. They don't know how to do an interview. Sometimes they don't know how to dress for the job or the interview. So we worked with Shaw Learning Academy, and they came in, talked to the kids, about 200 of them, about all of these soft skills. And then we got some reports from the kids. Some of them were interesting. They said it was fun to see how people got dressed up. One of them said some serious things, said she actually got a card from somebody that was going to give her a job. So that was amazing in itself. One of them said the cheesecake was just off of the grid. So they got some serious things about it, and then they got to have a good time also. We have had 20 new members the first quarter. We have hosted over 30 in 3 months, over 30 events. We had the gala. We've had several networkings at lunch. We've had about 16 ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings. We've had business at breakfast, member mixers. We have another group we have just started this year, women's lunch every Friday. One Friday a month, not every Friday, one Friday a month. And it's just for women, and they meet and talk about business concerns that only women would experience for the most part. And we had one this past Friday and had over 50 women there. So we're happy to be able to do that. Legislative, we have published a public policy. It's on the website if you'd like to read it. April 30th, we'll be hosting a state legislative wrap-up. Senator Mullis, Representative Weldon, and Tarvin will be there to bring us up to date about what happened in the just recent legislative session. I was on a weekly conference call all during the session to stay abreast of all the issues that pertain to business, and I'll pass that on to the legislative committee and the board. We hosted a dinner in Atlanta for our state delegation at no charge to the chamber. The people who attended paid for theirs, and then they divvied up and paid for the other guys too. We attended Eggs and Issues in January to kick off the legislative session, and we have worked with a consultant to improve the chamber finances. We're just like everybody else. We never have enough money to do all the things we want to do. So we have worked with a consultant and came up with a new a dues structure that will be, I think, beneficial to everyone. It's going to take us a year to get it all rolled out. Again, no cost to anybody except those who choose to belong to the chamber. Anybody have any questions?
Anyone, any questions? Thank you, Martha.
We've kind of been busy, so thank you very much.
Thank you for the job you do, too. Next item on the agenda is under new business, public utilities, Mr. Parker.
First item, requesting authorization to purchase 100 Neptune E-Coder water meters. This goes along with our current meter upgrade change-out program. Requesting to purchase 100, cost of $18,000.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Mr. Gray. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Mr. Parker, you're still got the floor.
Okay, the next item is the pipeline locator. I believe Mr. Goulart had spoke with a
That's
number of y'all.
correct. I previously, because it exceeded my authority, I previously got a verbal from you also. I need you to finalize that purchase. And that purchase was in the amount of $3,048, and that's to Tracer Electronics LLC. That's so we can locate water lines, gas lines for our utility locate.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Stinney. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item on the agenda, pump station monitoring equipment. Mr. Parker.
Okay, we have telemetry at most of our pump stations, and it notifies us in the event that we have a high level mostly or a power failure. This telemetry will do a lot more than that. It'll monitor up to 10 different parameters, and it'll call us by phone, it'll send a text message, and we can also go online and monitor it. This is just one unit, which I'm requesting to purchase, and we're going to install it at the Parkside Nursing Home. To see how the unit works and see how, see if it works the way it's supposed to. And this request is $2,795, and we're going to purchase it out of the Walker County SPLOST portions of monies we have that has to be used on sewer system in Walker County, which we have very little bit amount on.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Mr. Gray. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Ms. Stenney?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item on the agenda, bid for North Side Water Project.
This is the water project that we've been discussing along to replace the water main up Cross Street. It also replace the water main on Patterson Avenue and install about 600 feet of sanitary sewer on Patterson Avenue. We had put this out to bid. We had 5 different contractors pick bid packages up. We only had 2 returned. We're recommending the low bid of Tally Construction of $1,568,631.96.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Mr. Rogers. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Ms. Stenney?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers? Motion
Yes.
carried unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Parker.
Thank you.
Mr. Parker, can you give us a real quick update on Scruggs Road? Looks like it's all about done.
Scruggs Road, all the pipe is in the ground. Contractor picked up the pump station from our shop first end of last week, and they're getting it installed. So probably another week, 10 days perhaps, that system will be ready to go online. There'll be a little more cleanup to do. The rain hasn't helped as far as being able to do a lot of cleanup in those areas, but for the station to be online or the system to be online probably in less than 2 weeks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Next item on the agenda, Recreation Department, Mr. Long.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for, we do have lights at the ball field. The new lights are great. They powered them up Thursday night, and it looks like sunny days at nighttime up there now, so, but everything's worked out great on that. We're still doing cleanup and all due to the weather. Everything's been put off, but all the rec teams have understood that weather just hadn't cooperated with us through this whole project due to the winter weather, but everything is coming to end and looking great. Just wanted to personally thank y'all for that. The item we got on here is for the ball field expenses. This is in the budget. It's under maintenance and repairs. This will be part of the cleanup and different things that we're doing up there. So asking for approval because we've got several different items and companies we'll be purchasing from and things doing for approval for $8,000, not to exceed that amount.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Smith.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second, yeah.
Second by Mr. Gray. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Ms. Stenney?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous.
I'll do the next item too. The next item is the street naming, and this is something that the rec association asked to be considered. Would be the roadway which is currently in Score Street that goes from Lafayette Road to Barnhart Circle currently, but to change the name from Barnhart Circle to Hedekin, which there's no residents or businesses on that, so don't have mailing problems, to change it to Honeycutt Way. This is due to a lot of things that went on and thousands of dollars donated by the Honeycutt family, and I mean they go back to the
beginning of the ball fields, and also they would like for it to be considered and proposing it. And we have talked to 911, their address, and they have no problem with changing the name if y'all approve.
Is there a motion to approve?
Can I ask a question?
We need a
Oh,
motion.
okay,
and
yeah,
a second.
Make a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
Motion by Mr. Gray. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Crawford. Now,
Yes.
So that would be when you come off Lafayette Road onto OnScore?
No, it will be, end score would be
It'd be
just
like,
from Lafayette Road
get
up
into the
to
curve?
Hedekin, and then there at the curve at that stop sign, once you cross over Hedekin, it would just be that short section
Okay.
between it. And also at the time, we're gonna correct the name. It's been this way for years, and me and Carol researched it back, on end score. It's always been with a E, and it actually is the correct spelling by the previous mayor that was here in the past. It starts with an I, so we will correct all the signage and all on that at that time.
any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. I wrote enough reports there over the years. I knew one of them up there on Barnhart Circle, that little cut through just past 103 Barnhart.
Up there at by Ida, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they didn't ever have a sign up, never, till
But,
quite a few years ago.
but yeah, it actually starts with I.
I'm glad
Thank you,
to
Jerry
hear that.
Detkin,
Thank you.
for making that to attention.
Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Ms. Denny?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
yes.
Motion carried unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Next item on the agenda, City Manager's Report. Mr. Goodlord.
Phil reported to you the update on Scruggs Road, so I won't belabor that point. And Jeff has enlightened you as to the new lights at the ball field. If you have an opportunity, you need to go by and look at it. It's a great improvement for that area. One other thing at the polo field, and I was going to mention this last meeting, but there's been some renovations there at the bandstand. Some people call it the bandstand, some call it the gazebo, whatever, but I didn't have the money to approve it, and I know that Craig and Derek worked with me on looking at the budget, and thanks to them, we were able to extract sufficient city funds to pay for that remodeling. So thank you all for your help. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Goodlord. Next item on the agenda, City Council comments. Mr. Smith.
no, I don't reckon I got nothing tonight.
Ms. Denny.
Of course.
Oh,
On April the 18th, the American Legion will be hosting a Make-A-Wish spaghetti dinner. The funds, part of the proceeds will go to the Make-A-Wish campaign. Call Judy at 423-645-3378 and let them know that you'll be coming to support Make-A-Wish. On Sunday, the April the 26th at noon at Eagles Rest Ranch, and this is for all veterans and their families. There's going to be a outdoor entertainment, food, fun, fishing, hay rides, horseback, walking trails, kayaks, and canoes. And at 4 p.m., the Missing Man ceremony by Rolling Thunder, our friends there. That's a very touching ceremony. If you've ever had the opportunity to see the Missing Man ceremony, it will bring tears to your eyes. Please call Ginger Brown if you are a veteran or your family at 423-421-3205 and take advantage of that. 2015 North Georgia Healthcare Center Communities in School Golf Tournament. Everyone knows Communities in School. They are a big supporter with our PLC located here in Fort Oglethorpe on Barnhart Circle. There's an opportunity to play golf and support them April 28th, that's Tuesday, and the golf tournament will be at Windstone Golf Course. May 1st, of course, is the Armed Forces Day Parade in Chattanooga. I'd like to encourage everyone to be there. Our VFW and American Legions will be taking part in that. Also, gentlemen, for your consideration, it has been brought to my attention by several individuals that a 5:30 council starting time would help a lot of people when they get off work to come here at 5:30 instead of 6:30. That way they wouldn't have to get something to eat and come back. And also some senior citizens said it would be easier for them because of it getting dark and their driving abilities. Mr. Goulart, could you look into that possibility, sir?
I would be happy to. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to see that myself. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Is that it?
That's it, sir.
Okay, Mr. Gray.
I have nothing, sir.
Mr. Crawford.
Yeah, I'd like to say you was kind on that, but the real person involved in getting the bandstand renovations is Miss Chris McKeever. She come to us and was asking about that. She found a contractor on that, and we worked with Miss Debkin with the historical preservation, make sure all of our I's were dotted and T's crossed on all that. So thank you on that, just to help make that look better. And I think we're going to be set for painting now on it. I know. But thank you again on that. And also, which everybody talked about, it's been the ball season going on. We're supposed to have our opening day ceremony Saturday. Looks like rain. I know this ball season, it's been raining about every day. But we had our preseason tournament, and since our facility wasn't 100% ready, we were able to go to Carthel Rogers at Rossville Recreation was letting us use his facilities in the city of Rossville. So I'd like to say thank you for showing cities being able to work together when somebody else is in need. But I really appreciate them and give them a little shout out, the council and the mayor there. That's it.
And it's supposed to rain all week, too.
I know.
Through Sunday. Mr. Rogers.
I don't have anything, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda, citizens petitions and requests. Sonny Winston, are you here?
I'm here.
Please identify yourself for the record, Ms. Winston.
I'm Sonny Winston. I live at 148 Park Drive. Been there 46 years.
Okay. Can you, and I'm hard of hearing, so, and I don't know if that mic's working.
Well, I'm
really
short, so I'll
well. I
have to
don't know
lean.
if I'm deaf or it's not working well.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, before I ask my questions, would it be possible that I ask my questions and not be interrupted till I've finished? Thank you. I've already stated my name. And I would appreciate it if you would address my questions to the city attorney. My question, is it true, according to the open records law, that the public has the right to laptop, cell phones, Blackberries, tapes, recorders and videos, and any electronic equipment, transcript messages such as emails, text, Facebook, tapes, or videos that the city has used the taxpayer money to purchase? That's the end of that question.
Is that it?
That question, yes.
Mr. Stoltz?
The Open Records Act has many disclosures, some of which you have mentioned. Some of the information contained on those records would, of course, be confidential. That's why when you make an open records request, the information that you request has to be reviewed, and if in fact some of it is in fact privileged, it has to be redacted,
Okay,
stricken.
if that question is true, then would it come
No,
under?
Miss Winston, I didn't say it was true.
I said
I said
if. I
part.
said if.
Okay.
I didn't say it was. I said if it's true. Then would that come under the 3-day rule?
Speak up, Ms. Winston. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
If that question is true, would it come under the 3-day rule? There's a 3-day rule when we ask for open records. They
Well,
have 3
actually-
days to give it to us.
Actually, the rule is 3 business days. If you make a request on Friday, you're not going to
I
get
know.
the information till Tuesday.
I know that rule, and
You're
I'm
not going to
asking.
get a response until Tuesday, unless the information is readily available.
Does that answer your question, Ms. Winston?
It does. I knew it was business days, but it's the 3-day rule. That includes business. Also, could the public submit an open records request for city business only, transactions redacting all personal information? And I think you answered that. Example, if there are any electronic communications between any city-appointed employee and elected officials that could form a quorum through electronics. If this has happened, can the results of these electronic messages be printed and posted in a designated place at City Hall so that we could review those instead of filing open records to receive this electronic city business?
Is that the end of your question?
I'm not sure what the question is.
Is that the end of your question, Ms. Winston?
I'm saying if these records can be obtained, could they post those for the public to view instead of us having to file an open record to get it?
Ms. Winston, I know that you have been offered multiple opportunities to come in and just look at whatever records that you want to look at. Now, are you asking that
I've never asked.
Wait a minute. That the city print out all email communications for you to then come in and look at?
I'm not saying that. I
Okay,
said
I just don't understand your question.
if we can obtain if the first question that I ask, where we have to wait the 3 business days to get an open record, if this information that we can obtain on the electronic business for the city is what I'm saying, could you post that? Not.
Well, I'm not sure that the city wants to take a policy that every email or every communication needs, in fact, to be printed out for some future reference that someone might request, and that is 5 minutes.
Well, I have the law.
That's your question, Ms. Winston. Next item, Chris McKeever, Vintage Baseball.
I'm Chris McKeever with the 6th Cavalry Museum, and we are so happy to be the host for the 2 Chattanooga, North Georgia area teams that have joined the Tennessee Vintage Association of Baseball. And so this is this year's program. Opening day for Vintage Baseball was on April the 4th, and even though it had rained up to that, we did get the games, the matches, they're not called games. 2 matches were played. Councilwoman Stinnett was there with us, along with over 200 other people. We had visitors from 5 different states, and Dave Patel at the Super 8 said that he had 2 families that stayed overnight. They saw the Vintage Baseball portrayed on WRCB TV3 and came out and had so much fun they stayed overnight and told him that he needed to come see. So the programs, I have some extras here in case anyone would like them. You can go online to see the schedule. They play twice a month here, and then they also travel to Knoxville, Nashville, Harriman, which is Roane County. For Vintage Baseball to be played, it has to be played on an open field. And with the open field, they were hoping that they'd be allowed to play at the Chickamauga National Battlefield. And of course, that is sacred ground and they were not allowed. And so through the Tourism Association, Kim Coons with the battlefield brought it to our attention, and the museum took on the leadership role to get it here. Their uniforms are spectacular. It is just a great time. They are playing this Saturday at noon and 2:30. And we appreciate the city keeping the field in wonderful repair like they have, putting it on the announcement board. And if we ever get a week of dry weather and the bandstand dries out, Kyle Russell, who's president of the museum board, he's going to send his crew up to paint the bandstand. It needs to be painted, but this wet weather has not helped anyone. So Do y'all have any questions about vintage baseball?
It is supposed to rain Saturday, too.
I know. And it's up to the team captains. The Mountain City Club, Justin Angel is their team captain. He is the probate judge for the 12th Circuit in Pikeville, Tennessee, so he comes all the way from Bledsoe County. The Lightfoot's team, their team captain is Sean McNally, who is Cat Country Mac and Cheese in the Morning. That's Sean McNally, and he is, both teams are full, and it's just it's really been, brought a lot of people out. They estimated that we had 250 people there throughout the course of the afternoon. As soon as our restrooms get done at the museum, that will make life a whole lot easier than the single facility that we have. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I was there. Let me add to Ms. McKeever. I was there for opening day, enjoyed something. I have never had so much fun at a game. And the rules are they're different. Half the time I didn't know what was going on, but it was fun to watch these guys in their vintage attire playing gentlemanly baseball.
Gentlemen.
Yes. Apologizing for any outspokenness, and it was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Take advantage of getting to see one of these games if you can.
Hopefully it's going to quit raining.
We hope. 20% chance for Saturday, so maybe, just maybe.
We got an 80% shot, don't
That's
we?
right.
It's okay. Next item on the agenda is executive session. Is there anything on the executive session other than litigation that the mayor asked to be placed on there? Was there anything else other than that? I'm going to withdraw that. So next item would be a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.